Now let me tell you which specific podcast do I listen to. So I have a ranking in my head. So rank number 1 I would give to Stephen Bartlett's The Diary of CEO podcast, and I already talked about this podcast firstly in this video at the start and also in previous video of mine. Second one is a very similar podcast which is done by Chris Williamson, and it's called Modern Wisdom. Third one, I have a tie between two podcasts. First one is a Mel Robbins podcast by Mel Robbins, and second one is Huberman's Lab podcast by Andrew Huberman. Now, why these podcasts? I like these podcasts because point number 1 is I feel podcasters like Stephen Bartlett, Chris Williamson, they are so good and natural in their conversation style, which keeps the whole flow of the podcast natural. It literally feels like a common person is asking questions to an expert. While why have I given Mel Robbins a little bit lower ranking? Because sometimes I feel that she goes a bit overboard in her sentences and in her expressions, but I can consider that because she is a TV personality. Now, number 2 is that it talks about these podcasts talk about those diverse set of topics which I have interest in. For example, health, fitness, psychology, and personal development.